What is the best Magic set of 2025? You might be surprised by the answer. We are taking a look at all 7 sets from 2025, and we are going to rank them from worst to best. Plus, I'll tell you which was the best set for Commander players. Let's dig in. Welcome back to Sadgic the Gathering. I am still here. I made it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. It is the best way to support us and help us grow. And as we continue this journey with Magic, seriously though, subscribe. In 2025, Wizards of the Coast released 7 new sets. And we are going to rank them from worst to best, based on how affordable, on how well designed, on how powerful, and how beautiful they are. This year was really fascinating for Magic, I think, for a lot of reasons. Obviously, we had some pretty unique IPs in Universes Beyond, but I think the major reason we had 2 of maybe the worst Magic sets of all time released this year, while also having maybe 2 of the greatest Magic sets of all time released this year. Kind of a weird dichotomy there that we could go that far one way and then swing back the other way. But let's get into it. At the bottom of the list and at number 7 is Spider-Man. Well, folks, they really did it, you know? They made it big. Look, I'm really sorry if you like this set, but to me, Spider-Man represents the biggest problems that are facing Magic players right now, and the biggest problems coming from Wizards of the Coast, which are the set does not fit well with Magic's design and play structure. It was a premium priced nightmare, wasn't nearly powerful enough, and the IP doesn't belong at all. I think ultimately it just felt so forced. And while Wizards of the Coast hasn't released any official sales numbers on how the set did, I do think players kind of started to speak with their wallets, which is a great thing. And I don't think it did very well. The only information I have about how the set performed is really just my own experience from what I've seen online, what I've seen at retailers, what I've seen at my local game store. I mean, you should have seen the mountain of play and collector booster box on Black Friday at my LGS.
Not too good.
Yeah. I think once all the scalpers and hype quickly died down after release, no one really wanted to touch this set. Do I think that Wizards of the Coast has learned a lesson on doing sets like this? Probably not, but gosh, I hope so. I know the next Marvel set is on the horizon, and honestly, I hope that it just comes out and we can move on with our lives, and that's that. Number 6, Ether Drift. The most frustrating thing about this set is not that it's ugly or forgettable or unnatural. It's that in a year where half of the release sets were in-universe sets, it's that one of them was ugly, forgettable, and unnatural. And it was this. Especially wanting to send a message to Wizards of the Coast that we love in-universe sets, and we want more of them, and we don't want to just drown in a tidal wave of Universes Beyond. It sucks that this is one of them that we had to stand behind and support. Ether Drift feels like one of those sets that was pitched at like a first round of ideas meeting and should have just been left on the doesn't make sense pile along with
Skippy here made sure of that.
Incredible!
You're not affiliated with me!
The weird thing about it is that it actually could have been a total success if they would have just focused on one plane. An Amonkhet set would have been a huge success. Returning to Kaladesh would have had a lot of excitement, and even the new plane that they introduced, which is Muragonda, which is like dinosaurs and oozes and like a sort of plane that's just evolving in its early stages, would have been great. Any one of them would have been great individually, but instead they sort of mashed them together and then put this forced race car theme on top of all of it. But the set wasn't a total failure. One of the biggest bright spots from it was actually the Commander Precons. And I think both of those work really well because each of them is sort of like a mini Kaladesh and mini Amonkhet set in and of themselves. They were very cool and well built. Overall, this was not a good set, and I think it may go down as one of the worst in-universe sets of all time, sadly. At number 5 is Innistrad Remastered. This is a very solid set, and I hope that you know that there is a really big gap between sets 7 and 6 on this list and this set. The reason that it's in this position is because of how I feel about all remastered sets. On one side, they're a ton of fun if you want a sort of cohesive greatest hits run of your favorite plane. They also get some amazing new art treatments. But most of all, they're really fantastic for the amount of reprints we get and bringing down the price of so many staples. Otherwise, unless you're looking for one specific staple reprint or you're a mega fan of a set, they're kind of just there. I definitely don't want them to stop making remastered sets like this. Again, I think that they are an amazing opportunity to get awesome reprints like Emrakul or Cultivator Colossus or Conjurer's Closet. And you know, these sets don't really bring in new players, but that's okay because it really does feel like they're throwing a bone to seasoned players. It's made for old heads to just revel in the best of the best from their favorite planes. So I'm grateful, even if I'm not that excited, you know, but someone let me know when they make Kamigawa Remastered, okay? And I'm there. I'm sad. Number 4, Edge of Eternities. This set was experimental and a little bit out there, but did I like it? Yeah, I did. In fact, there were so many elements of this set that really wowed me. I think lander tokens and the new keyword ability Warp was amazing. The ability that we now have to make legendary vehicles our commanders, a handful of great new staples, and some great precons. Getting an abundantly strong artifact commander deck that is filled with so many goodies for one of the most popular commander deck types was great. And getting one of the most powerful out-of-the-box precons with one of the most unique land destruction strategies was such a massive win. But here's the rub. Not everything worked in this set. Some of the mechanics just fell flat. Some of the designs didn't really make sense for me. And sadly and honestly, I think I know what they were really trying to do with this set. They wanted to put an in-universe foot in the door for future sci-fi sets so that we would feel less confused about the juxtaposition of having universes beyond sci-fi sets like Star Trek. Maybe I'm being too cynical because there's a lot about this set that I loved and that worked, but it kind of feels like a Trojan horse to me. I guess we'll have to see. Number 3, Final Fantasy. Man, this thing was packed. And it's the only other Universes Beyond set that they've given the sort of Lord of the Rings treatment to, which is 4 holiday scene boxes, 4 precons, a starter kit, gift bundle, fully draftable set. They gave it almost everything. And with 16 games to pull from, I mean, they really went for it. And while I'm not a huge Final Fantasy fan, I have enough context, and I've been playing the game long enough that I can really say they nailed it. The characters that you wanted to see were there and got great designs. The cards were powerful. It did a lot. It worked. So if we have so many powerful cards, great art, amazing precons, Satan himself, why isn't this number 1 on the list? Well, 2 reasons. Number 1 is nitpicky and sort of just me being curmudgeonly. But it's that there were certain aspects of the Final Fantasy games that just didn't really feel like they belonged or feel like they gelled with Magic. Like this, and like this, and like this. But that didn't ruin the set for me, and that's not really a real reason, in my opinion. So what is the real reason? Well, it's that Final Fantasy brought some of the worst price jumps and overinflation on products that we've ever seen in Magic's history. Precons, bundles, all kinds of sealed product were triple what they should have been. And instead of players saying, whoa, 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 we're not going to pay those prices, we made it the best-selling Magic set of all time. And it's hard to know what the real issue was there. Was it Wizards making the MSRPs crazy? Was it scalpers making it a problem? Overall, though, I think it set a new precedent with Universes Beyond products that is making it really, really hard to afford to play the game. I really like this set a lot. I think it's going to provide some amazing things for players to use for years to come. I do worry that it's done some irreversible damage to Magic's pricing and the way we interact with overpriced sets. But man, I really do love this set, and I love this guy. Number 2, Tarkir Dragonstorm. What a comeback, man. One of the best returning planes of all time got one of the best treatments that a standard set has ever gotten. It was an absolute banger and a complete success for standard players, for limited players, and especially for commander players. Everybody ate good. A massive highlight from this set has to be the 5 3-color precons that we got that are each deserving of your play, do amazing work, and are relatively affordable. And it brought so many amazing new staples like the new Elspeth, the Siege enchantments, Corey Steelcutter, Voice of Victory, Mox Jasper. There's so much. And I don't know if I've ever played a set that is so incredibly synergistic with itself in so many different ways. Balancing 5 3-color strategies across so many mono-colored cards is an insane task, and they did it so well. I mean, you can mix and match this set endlessly and it will work every time. I mean, and come on, the art was some of the best we've had from Magic set in a really long time. It's clear that the set was designed with so much love and so much attention to detail. It pulled from so many rich Asian cultures, and I think really did them justice in putting them in a fantasy realm. And I think it expanded upon the original Tarkir block in such an amazing way without diminishing at all. If anything, improving upon it in a huge way. I mean, honestly, the set was just such a breath of fresh air, and I think for a moment, it did make us feel like Magic was in the right hands and that they can do this and we can get amazing in-universe sets. Easily one of the best mainline sets we've had in a long time. Which means coming in at number 1 is in fact Avatar: The Last Airbender. Guys, this set is legitimately that set. It's not only the best set of the year, it's one of the best sets I have ever played. First of all, they held nothing back. A normal standard set will have like 3 or 4 new mechanics, 1 to 2 of which will become viable long-term, and they'll usually include 1 to 2 older returning mechanics. But Avatar's 4 new bending mechanics are all incredible, insane, game-winning type strategies. And the returning mechanics and abilities and types, you've got clues, experience counters, allies, lessons, prowess, shrines, flip sagas. It's crazy. It's dizzying, honestly. And you know what? At first, I was a little peeved that we weren't going to get precons for the set, especially because it seemed like this was going to be the perfect set to have precons. But once I realized the variety and depth of amazing commanders present in this set, I didn't even know where to start.
I have so much work to do, I feel like I'm gonna blow my brains out.
And for that reason, this was easily the best set for commander players. Avatar produced so many new amazing staples that are going to see play across so many formats, especially commander, for a long time. Staples like Redirect Lightning, Badger Cub, Monk Yatso, and commanders like Firelord Azula, Avatar Aang, Sokka, Tenacious Tactician are really just the tip of the iceberg when we realize how rich this thing actually is. And the fact that we have so many more amazing cards in the sort of second set that is Jumpstart just goes to show how insanely packed this thing is. That, in addition to what they designed for the main set, really elevate this thing to new heights. But you know what makes this thing feel extra special? It's that it slots so effortlessly in to Magic the Gathering. Even as a Universes Beyond set, it just belongs here and it works so well. Everything was crafted with so much love for the source material, and you can see that in the flavor on every single card. As a commander player, it's one of the most fun and dynamic sets ever. It's an all-timer. Thanks for that, Wizards. And that is 2025. I give it a solid B for... Boomerang! Thank you guys for watching and supporting the channel this year. It means so much to us. A lot of awesome stuff has happened this year, like becoming a YouTube partner and calling all your favorite stuff cringe. It's been a genuine joy to make these videos and interact with the community as we do so. I love you all. We've got some amazing content planned for 2026 that I can't wait for you guys to see. As always, subscribe to Sadgic for more magic. We'll see you soon.